November 1st, 1943, a fierce storm was raging across the North Atlantic. Waves the size of houses were crashing around you as the wind screamed overhead. Visibility was almost zero, and the sea was a churning mass of black water. But through it all, one ship relentlessly pursued its prey. The USS Bory had been tracking a German submarine for days. The sub had been detected on radar, but its position was obscured by the constant pounding of the waves. The Bory's captain, Lieutenant Commander Ralph Christie, knew that if he could get close enough, he had a good chance of killing the sub, but getting close in this weather was almost impossible. Just when it seemed like the sub would get away, something happened. The massive U-boat surfaced briefly before diving back down. It was recharging its batteries after being submerged for so long. Captain Christie saw his chance and gave the order to strike. The Bory launched a salvo of depth charges at the U-boat. The explosion was so powerful that it caused the ocean around the U-boat to boil. The U-boat was dead in the water. Its engines had failed, and it was now at the mercy of the Bory. But the Bory did not stop there. It continued to drop depth charges until the entire ocean around the U-boat was nothing but a churning mass of foam and fire. Water spouted into the air as the U-boat was ripped apart by the bombs. The U-boat was quickly filling with water and its crew began to panic. With no other choice, the U-boat was forced to surface once again. The crew scrambled to get the wounded on board as the Bory closed in for the kill. The two ships were now only a few hundred yards apart, and as the Bory got closer, the crew of the U-boat could see the guns of their pursuer. There was no way out. The U-boat was trapped, and soon the Bory would be upon them. With the sub's guns, they could not hope to win a battle against such a large ship. So they turned to their last line of defense, their small arms. As the Bory came within range, the crew of the U-boat opened fire. Bullets flew through the air, and the deck of the Bory was quickly littered with casualties. The Bory's crew returned fire, and soon the U-boat's gunners were falling like flies. But still, the U-boat fought on. They knew that if they could just hold out a little longer, the storm would pass, and they would be able to escape. But the Bory was relentless, and soon the U-boat's ammunition was running low. The Bory's captain gave the order to ram the U-boat. He knew that this could be the end of the battle, but he also knew that it was their only chance of winning. The Bory smashed into the U-boat at full speed. Impact was so violent that the destroyer landed on the submarine at a 30-degree angle. The crew of the Bory poured out of the broken hull and onto the deck of the U-boat. The U-boat's crew fought back, but they were outnumbered and outgunned. In a matter of minutes, the Bory's crew had taken control of the submarine. They searched the vessel, but the only people they found were dead. The U-boat had been completely destroyed by the ramming. As the Bory pulled away from the wreckage, they saw the U-boat sink beneath the waves. All hands were lost. The Bory had won a decisive victory, but it had come at a cost. The ramming had ripped a hole in the side of the ship, and it was now taking on water. The crew of the Bory fought to contain the damage, but it was too late. The ship was crippled beyond repair. With no other choice, the captain ordered the ship to be scuttled. The crew abandoned ship, and the Bory was left to the mercy of the waves. Thus ends the incredible tale of the USS Bory, a ship that took on a German submarine and won. This is an amazing story of courage and determination in the face of overwhelming odds. The crew of the Bory knew that they were up against a tough opponent, but they never gave up. They fought until the very end, and their bravery paid off. The Bory may have been old and outdated, but it was still a formidable opponent. The ship was armed with a variety of weapons, including 5-inch guns, 40mm cannons, and machine guns. These weapons were more than enough to give the U-boat a run for its money. The battle between the Bory and the U-boat was a close one. The U-boat was fast and maneuverable, but the Bory was able to keep it in its sights and deliver blow after blow. The U-boat eventually succumbed to the damage and was forced to surrender. One of the most amazing things about this battle is that it was decided by a ramming. This is almost unheard of in modern naval warfare. Typically, submarines are sunk by torpedoes or depth charges. But in this case, the Bory's captain was able to land a devastating blow with his ship's hull. Another amazing thing about this battle is the amount of small arms fire that was used. Typically, sailors would only use small arms in self-defense or against enemy aircraft. But in this case, the Bory's crew had to use every weapon at their disposal to defend themselves against the U-boat's gunners. The scene of sailors fighting on the deck of a submarine with rifles and pistols is truly a sight to behold. This battle was fought during World War II, a time when technology was rapidly advancing. But the Bory was an old ship by today's standards. It was built in 1930 and saw action in both the Atlantic and Pacific theaters of war. The ship was able to hold its own against the U-boats despite its age, which is a testament to its crew and its design. The USS Bory was a victim of its own success. After sinking the U-boat, the ship was damaged beyond repair and had to be scuttled. But this was not the end of the Bory's story. The ship's heroic crew was rescued and went on to fight in other battles. Some of the crew even went on to become famous, such as Lieutenant Commander Ralph Christie, who later became an admiral in the United States Navy. This battle is a true testament to the bravery and determination of the men who fought in it. The crew of the Bory faced overwhelming odds and still came out on top. Their story will never be forgotten. Now let's talk about the specifications of these two vessels. The USS Bory was a Clemson-class destroyer, a type of ship that was designed for fast, aggressive combat. It had a displacement of 1,630 tons and was armed with 5 5-inch guns, 8 40mm cannons, and 12 50 caliber machine guns. It was also equipped with a number of depth charge projectors and racks for use against submarines. The U-405, on the other hand, was a Type 7 boat, class of submarine that was designed to operate in the Atlantic Ocean. It had a displacement of 864 tons and was armed with 6 bow torpedo tubes, 2 of which were 4 21-inch torpedoes, and 4 of which were 4 18-inch torpedoes. It also had a single 88mm gun on the deck for anti-surface ship warfare. Both vessels were well-armed and maneuverable, which made for an exciting and intense battle. In terms of speed, the Bory could reach a maximum speed of 35 knots, while the U-405 could travel at 17 knots on the surface and 22 knots when submerged. The Bory's superior speed allowed it to icily outmaneuver the U-boat and deliver its devastating blows. In terms of range, the Bory had a maximum range of 3,500 miles at 15 knots, while the U-405 had a range of 8,500 miles at 10 knots on the surface and 75 miles at 5 knots submerged. The difference in range is not surprising given that the Bory was a purpose-built warship while the U-boat was a submarine designed for stealth and long-range patrols. Despite the U-boat's greater range, the Bory was able to track it down and deliver the fatal blow, showing the importance of speed and maneuverability in naval combat. So what do you think? What ship do you think is more impressive, the USS Bory or the U-405? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching.